Hey there, fellow truth seekers, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a subject shrouded in mystery and speculation. Before we begin, if you find our content as fascinating as we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. 90% of our viewers aren't subscribed, and your support helps us keep unearthing these incredible stories. Now let's talk about secrets. The world is full of them, hidden in plain sight, tucked away on remote islands and buried under layers of official narratives. Our story today takes us to one such place. A place where the line between scientific advancement and terrifying possibilities blurs. This is Plum Island, a seemingly insignificant speck of land off the coast of Long Island, New York. But don't let its size fool you. This island holds secrets, dark secrets, that have haunted its shores for decades. Join us as we journey to Plum Island and uncover the truth behind the whispered rumors, alleged cover-ups, and the disturbing reality of what might be lurking just beyond our shores. Our story begins in the summer of 2008 on the shores of Montauk, Long Island. Beachgoers stumbled upon a site that would quickly ignite a firestorm of speculation and fear, the carcass of a creature unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. The Montauk Monster, as it came to be known, was a grotesque puzzle of decaying flesh, sharp claws, and a beak-like snout. News of the creature spread like wildfire, captivating the public imagination and sparking a frenzy of theories about its origins. Was it a hoax, a bizarre mutation, or something far more sinister? Some whispered that the creature was the result of genetic experiments gone wrong, escaping from a clandestine facility where the boundaries of nature were being pushed to their limits. The official explanation pointed to a decomposing raccoon, its features distorted beyond recognition by time and the elements. But for many, this explanation rang hollow. The Montauk Monster became a symbol of the unknown, a chilling reminder that in the shadows of our world, things exist that defy explanation. And as whispers about the Montauk Monster grew louder, so too did the whispers about its potential birthplace, Plum Island. The island, shrouded in secrecy and whispered rumors, was thrust into the spotlight, its dark past threatening to unravel. Plum Island. Just uttering the name sends shivers down the spines of those familiar with its history. Officially, the Plum Island Animal Disease Center, established in 1954, is a research facility dedicated to protecting American livestock from foreign animal diseases. But behind this seemingly innocuous facade lies a much darker truth. The island's history is intertwined with the murky world of Cold War paranoia and the weaponization of nature's deadliest creations. It was here, in the aftermath of World War II, that the United States government embarked on a chilling program, recruiting former Nazi scientists under Operation Paperclip, granting them immunity and new identities in exchange for their expertise. Among these recruited scientists was a man named Eric Traub, a virologist whose knowledge of animal diseases and their potential for weaponization was unparalleled. Traub's arrival on Plum Island marked a sinister turning point, transforming the facility into a hub for bioweapons research, a place where the lines between science and horror blurred. Under Traub's guidance, Plum Island became a breeding ground for some of the world's deadliest pathogens. Rumors of bizarre experiments, genetic manipulation, and the creation of hybrid creatures spread like wildfire, fueled by the island's impenetrable secrecy. Eric Traub. The name itself sends chills down the spine, conjuring images of a man driven by a dark ambition. This was no ordinary scientist. Traub was a master of the macabre, a puppet master pulling the strings of life and death itself. His area of expertise, the weaponization of nature's smallest assassins, insects. Traub's obsession with insects, particularly ticks, stemmed from their unique ability to act as vectors, silently delivering deadly payloads into the heart of unsuspecting populations. He envisioned a new kind of warfare, one waged not with bombs and bullets, but with microscopic agents of disease, capable of crippling entire nations. On Plum Island, Traub's twisted vision began to take shape. The island became his personal playground, a place where he could experiment with impunity, pushing the boundaries of science and ethics in equal measure. He bred ticks by the thousands, carefully selecting and manipulating them, transforming them into living weapons. The island's isolation provided the perfect cover. Surrounded by water and shrouded in secrecy, Plum Island was a place where darkness thrived, where Traub and his team toiled tirelessly in the shadows, their work hidden from the prying eyes of the world. They were creating a new breed of terror, one that would spread silently, invisibly, leaving a trail of suffering in its wake. Ticks, in Traub's eyes, were the perfect weapons. Small, silent, and often unnoticed until it was too late, they could infiltrate enemy territory with ease, carrying with them a deadly arsenal of diseases. Traub's research focused on enhancing the natural lethality of these creatures, transforming them into efficient killing machines. He experimented with different species of ticks, infecting them with a cocktail of deadly pathogens, bacteria, viruses, parasites, anything that could inflict maximum damage. He meticulously studied their life cycles, their feeding habits, their ability to transmit disease, searching for ways to make them even more effective vectors of destruction. Rumors spread of hybrid ticks, genetically engineered to carry even deadlier payloads, capable of spreading disease at an alarming rate. These were not the ticks found in nature, these were Frankensteinian creations, born in the depths of Plum Island, designed for a single terrifying purpose: to spread death and chaos. The implications of Traub's work were chilling. A single tick, carrying a deadly pathogen, could potentially infect thousands, unleashing an epidemic that could cripple entire populations. The very air seemed to crackle with danger. The island itself transformed into a ticking time bomb. As Traub's experiments progressed, a strange and debilitating illness began to emerge in the northeastern United States. Lyme disease, named after the town in Connecticut where it was first identified in 1975, baffled doctors with its strange constellation of symptoms: fatigue, fever, joint pain, and a distinctive bullseye rash. The disease spread rapidly, leaving a trail of suffering in its wake. Doctors struggled to diagnose it, let alone treat it. The cause remained a mystery, but whispers began to circulate, whispers that pointed a finger at Plum Island. The epicenter of the Lyme disease outbreak was located just a stone's throw from Plum Island, a chilling coincidence that fueled speculation about a potential link. Could the disease have been the result of a lab accident? Had one of Traub's creations escaped the confines of the island, unleashed upon an unsuspecting population? The government vehemently denied any connection between Plum Island and the Lyme disease outbreak, dismissing such claims as baseless conspiracy theories. But for those whose lives had been touched by the debilitating illness, the denials rang hollow. The shadow of Plum Island loomed large, a constant reminder of the potential consequences of unchecked scientific ambition. The official narrative surrounding Plum Island was one of scientific progress, of dedicated researchers working tirelessly to protect the nation from the threat of animal diseases. But beneath the surface, a darker truth simmered, fueled by a series of accidents, cover-ups, and denials that only served to deepen the mystery. Whispers circulated of accidental releases, of contaminated animals escaping the island, carrying with them deadly pathogens that spread through the local wildlife and beyond. Each incident was met with swift denials from the government, the truth shrouded in a veil of secrecy. Rumors persisted of strange occurrences on the island, unexplained lights in the dead of night, unusual animal behavior, the sudden disappearance of personnel. Fishermen told tales of catching deformed fish in the waters surrounding Plum Island, their bodies twisted into grotesque shapes. The government's attempts to downplay and dismiss these incidents only served to fuel the flames of suspicion. The more they denied, the more convinced the public became that something sinister was happening on Plum Island, something that the government was desperate to keep hidden. While Lyme disease cast a long shadow over Plum Island, it was not the only disease to raise suspicions about the island's activities. Foot and mouth disease, a highly contagious viral disease affecting cloven-hoofed animals like cattle, pigs, and sheep, also entered the spotlight. Officially, Plum Island was dedicated to researching and preventing outbreaks of this economically devastating disease. However, some believe the island's work went far beyond mere prevention. Foot and mouth disease, though rarely fatal to adult animals, could cripple agricultural industries, causing widespread economic damage. The potential for such devastation made it a potent weapon, one that could be used to cripple a nation's food supply and sow chaos among its people. Was it merely a coincidence, some wondered, that Plum Island, a facility with a history shrouded in secrecy, housed research on a disease with such devastating potential? Fueling these suspicions were a series of outbreaks that seemed to occur with alarming regularity in areas near research facilities handling the virus. While these outbreaks were officially attributed to accidental releases or natural causes, the timing and proximity to these facilities raised eyebrows and fueled speculation. Could these have been deliberate acts of sabotage, or perhaps even tests of the virus's efficacy as a weapon? The government, as expected, denied any wrongdoing, maintaining that the outbreaks were unfortunate accidents. But for those who had witnessed firsthand the devastating effects of foot and mouth disease, the official explanations rang hollow. The shadow of Plum Island, with its veil of secrecy and its history of bioweapons research, loomed large over these outbreaks, leaving many to wonder if they were witnessing the consequences of unchecked scientific ambition. As the world grappled with the implications of bioweapons research on Plum Island, a chilling incident in 1971 brought the issue into sharp focus. Cuba, a nation already locked in a tense standoff with the United States, was struck by a devastating outbreak of African swine fever, a highly contagious and deadly disease affecting pigs. The outbreak, the first of its kind in the Western Hemisphere, decimated Cuba's pig population, crippling the island nation's food supply. While the Cuban government blamed the outbreak on sabotage, suspicions quickly fell upon the United States, particularly Plum Island. Rumors circulated that the strain of African swine fever responsible for the Cuban outbreak was a match for the one being studied on the island. Could this have been a deliberate act of biowarfare, a way to cripple the Cuban economy and sow unrest among its people? Adding fuel to the fire were allegations that a CIA operative, later revealed to be a double agent working for the Cuban government, had infiltrated Plum Island in the months leading up to the outbreak. Could this operative have smuggled the virus out of the facility and into Cuba, carrying out a devastating act of biological sabotage? The United States government vehemently denied any involvement in the Cuban outbreak, dismissing such claims as baseless propaganda. However, the incident cast a long shadow over Plum Island, further solidifying its reputation as a place where the lines between science, espionage, and warfare blurred. The Cuban swine fever incident was not an isolated event. It unfolded against the backdrop of the Cold War, a time of intense paranoia and distrust between the United States and the Soviet Union. Both superpowers, locked in an arms race of terrifying proportions, invested heavily in developing biological weapons, viewing them as a terrifying but potentially decisive tool in their struggle for global dominance. The Soviet Union in particular saw biological weapons as a way to level the playing field against the United States, which held a significant advantage in conventional weaponry. rumors swirled of vast Soviet bioweapons programs, with facilities scattered across the country, shrouded in secrecy, and guarded with extreme prejudice. Among the most insidious of these alleged Soviet programs was Operation Infection, a disinformation campaign designed to sow fear and distrust in the West. This campaign, launched in the 1980s, spread rumors that the United States was responsible for creating the AIDS virus, a claim designed to discredit the United States and undermine its global standing. While Operation Infection was eventually exposed as a fabrication, it highlighted the very real threat posed by biological weapons and the lengths to which nations would go to exploit their terrifying potential. The Cold War may be over, but the specter of biological warfare, with its potential for unimaginable devastation, continues to haunt the world. As if the specter of Cold War biowarfare wasn't chilling enough, a series of anthrax attacks on American soil in 2001 sent shockwaves through the nation. Letters laced with deadly anthrax spores targeted media outlets and government offices, killing 5 people and infecting 17 others. The attacks, coming just weeks after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, plunged the nation deeper into a climate of fear and uncertainty. While the 2001 anthrax attacks were eventually traced back to a disgruntled scientist working at a U.S. Army facility, the incident highlighted the vulnerability of the United States to bioterrorism. The fact that a single individual could unleash such terror using a biological agent raised serious questions about the nation's preparedness for such attacks and the security of its bioweapons stockpiles. The 2001 anthrax attacks served as a stark reminder that the threat of biological warfare did not end with the Cold War. Non-state actors, terrorist organizations, and even individuals with access to scientific knowledge and equipment could potentially unleash devastating biological attacks, with consequences far exceeding those of conventional weapons. The attacks underscored the need for greater vigilance, for enhanced security measures at bioweapons facilities, and for international cooperation to combat the proliferation of biological weapons and the knowledge required to create them. The world had entered a new era of warfare, one where the enemy was invisible, the battlefield potentially anywhere, and the consequences potentially catastrophic. The pursuit of scientific knowledge can be a double-edged sword, especially when it comes to deadly pathogens. Over the years, Plum Island has been plagued by a series of incidents that sent shockwaves through the local community and raised serious questions about the safety protocols in place at the facility. The true cost of a bioweapons accident is often difficult to quantify. The initial impact might be minimal, a few isolated cases easily dismissed or misdiagnosed. But like a spark in dry tinder, the potential for a localized outbreak to explode into a full-blown epidemic is a terrifying reality. The legacy of Plum Island is a complex one, intertwined with scientific advancements, wartime anxieties, and a persistent undercurrent of secrecy and distrust. The island's history is marred by a lack of transparency, a reluctance on the part of government officials to fully acknowledge the risks associated with the research conducted there, and a pattern of downplaying or dismissing the concerns of the local community. The story of Plum Island is a cautionary tale, a stark reminder that the pursuit of scientific knowledge must be tempered with a deep respect for the potential consequences, a commitment to transparency, and an unwavering dedication to the safety of both human and animal populations. Moving forward, it is imperative that we break the cycle of secrecy and distrust that has plagued Plum Island for decades. Transparency is not a threat to national security. It is the foundation upon which trust is built. For decades, the whispers about Plum Island remained largely confined to the shadows, fueled by rumors, speculation, and the anxieties of those living in the island's ominous shadow. But as the evidence of accidents, cover-ups, and potential breaches mounted, so too did public concern. Local communities, long burdened by the unsettling proximity of Plum Island and its veil of secrecy, began to organize. The fight for transparency and accountability regarding Plum Island became a protracted battle, waged in courtrooms, legislative chambers, and the court of public opinion. Lawmakers, spurred by the demands of their constituents and a growing awareness of the potential risks posed by bioweapons research, introduced legislation aimed at lifting the veil of secrecy surrounding the island and increasing oversight of its activities. Despite the challenges, the fight for transparency continued, fueled by the unwavering dedication of activists, concerned citizens, and a growing number of lawmakers who refused to let the issue be swept under the rug. While lawmakers and activists grappled with the political and legal complexities of holding the government accountable for its actions on Plum Island, a parallel battle for truth was being waged in the realm of investigative journalism. Intrepid reporters, driven by a sense of duty to uncover the truth and armed with the tools of their trade, began to dig deeper into the island's shrouded history, determined to shed light on the secrets that lay hidden beneath the surface. Their findings, published in newspapers, magazines, and online platforms, exposed a pattern of negligence, cover-ups, and a disturbing disregard for the potential consequences of bioweapons research. The fight for transparency and accountability regarding Plum Island is far from over. However, the combined efforts of activists, lawmakers, journalists, and concerned citizens have succeeded in shifting the paradigm, in challenging the culture of secrecy that has long shrouded bioweapons research. The conversation has begun, and the demand for greater oversight, public engagement, and ethical considerations in the realm of scientific research is growing louder with each passing day. Even as we peel back the layers of secrecy surrounding Plum Island, a sense of unease remains. The island, despite years of scrutiny and investigation, continues to hold its secrets close, leaving us with more questions than answers. Secrecy breeds fear. It creates a fertile ground for suspicion, distrust, and the proliferation of misinformation. The long shadow cast by Plum Island serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked secrecy. The story of Plum Island is not just a story about a secretive island off the coast of Long Island. It is a story about the delicate balance between scientific progress, national security, and the rights of citizens to live in a world free from unnecessary fear and risk. It is a story about the importance of transparency, accountability, and public engagement in shaping a safer and more informed future. The fight for transparency is not about undermining legitimate national security concerns. It is about ensuring that those concerns are balanced with the public's right to know about potential risks and to hold their elected officials accountable for their actions. It is about fostering a climate of open dialogue, where scientific research is conducted ethically and with appropriate safeguards in place, and where the public is treated as a partner, not an adversary, in the pursuit of knowledge and the protection of our shared future. We, the citizens, must be the guardians of our future. We must demand transparency from our elected officials, hold them accountable for their actions, and engage in informed and respectful dialogue about the complex issues facing our world. We must support investigative journalism, empower whistleblowers, and challenge those who would seek to silence dissent or suppress the truth. The pursuit of knowledge is a noble endeavor, one that has the power to transform our world for the better. But it must be pursued responsibly, ethically, and with the utmost respect for the safety and well-being of all living things. The challenges posed by bioweapons research and the potential for accidental or intentional release of deadly pathogens extend far beyond the borders of any single nation. In an increasingly interconnected world, where diseases can spread across continents in a matter of hours, the need for international cooperation and collaboration has never been greater. The development and stockpiling of biological weapons pose a grave threat to global security, one that demands a coordinated and multilateral response. International treaties, such as the Biological Weapons Convention, provide a framework for cooperation, but their effectiveness hinges on the willingness of nations to adhere to their commitments and to work together to prevent the proliferation of these dangerous weapons. Sharing information, intelligence, and best practices is crucial to staying ahead of emerging threats. Collaborative research efforts, focused on developing effective countermeasures and vaccines, are essential to mitigating the potential consequences of a bioweapons attack, and building capacity in developing countries, strengthening their public health infrastructure and their ability to detect and respond to outbreaks, is paramount to preventing the spread of disease and minimizing the impact of a potential attack. The threat of bioweapons is a global one, and it demands a global response. By working together, sharing knowledge, and fostering a spirit of cooperation, we can create a safer and more secure world for all. The fight for transparency, accountability, and a safer world is far from over. The story of Plum Island, while deeply unsettling, serves as a powerful reminder that we, as citizens, have a vital role to play in shaping our collective future. We cannot afford to be complacent. We cannot simply assume that our elected officials are acting in our best interests, especially when it comes to issues as complex and potentially dangerous as bioweapons research. We must remain vigilant, informed, and engaged. Educate yourself about the issues. Support organizations working to promote transparency and accountability in government and scientific research. Contact your elected officials and let them know that you care about these issues and that you expect them to be champions for transparency and public safety. Share what you learn with others. Spread awareness about the importance of responsible scientific research, the dangers of unchecked secrecy, and the power of citizen engagement in shaping a safer and more informed future. The future is not predetermined. It is shaped by the choices we make today. Let us choose to be informed, to be engaged, and to be the guardians of a future where science serves the betterment of humanity, not its potential destruction. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the shadows of Plum Island. And as always, stay curious, stay vigilant, and keep searching for the truth. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the mysteries that shape our world. Until next time, stay safe.